Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. Happy New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. That is the day I'm planning to have this episode broadcast. And that means it's going to be New Year's Day tomorrow. And we might have something going on then. I'll tell you more about that as we get into this scenario. Meanwhile, we're driving today 1N07, a 12:30 King's Cross to Newcastle service. Having departed King's Cross more than 2 hours ago. It's 2:35 as we pick up the scenario. We've arrived at York, so we're going to continue our service and finish to terminate at Newcastle. That said, what we are doing today, we're just driving from York to Darlington on diverted Middlesbrough service. So we're not actually going to be finishing the trip to Newcastle. I think what's going to happen is that the service to Newcastle is going to divert at Darlington, heading to Middlesbrough. That's my best guess anyway. So we're going to find out as we get going naturally. There are services that are going to be apparently showing up from Newcastle and Durham and other places on the way, so we're going to see lots of AI. There's some on here that we might not even see by the time the scenario finishes, so I don't know if we're actually going to be done in 50 minutes or not. Let's find out. Let's see what's going on here. By the way, the date of this scenario, we're dialing back even more than the previous one. It's March 3rd of 1964. I thought it said 63. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but I have it down as March 3rd, 1964. Whatever it is in the earlier 60s. That means that Black 5s are going to be showing up on our journey today, ladies and gentlemen. Black 5s. Yes. Let's get started. As you can see, we have no message box. We're just on our way. So let's get past this column that's now melding into us. There it is. And we've already gone past the signal. It was a yellow signal with a clearance onto the main line. Let's get in the train and bring up the HUD. And I'm getting up to speed fast. So that is not a bad thing. Already up to 50. Well, not quite. We're going to go a little more. Now we're up to 15. A little over. 15.5. That's fine. Miles per hour. We are leaving platform number 8 at York. You can see the path heading off there. I believe that goes to Sunderland. If we look out the right window, I believe that goes towards Sunderland. It could be also the route towards... no, it can't be Edinburgh. I want to say it's the route towards Scarborough, Sunderland, the northeast route from DP Simulation is probably south of that. That's probably where it goes. If I'm wrong on that, I will put information in the text description. I'll put it there anyway, even if I'm right, just so there's no doubt. So if I am wrong, I will bring that up. No, bring that up. There we go. So if I'm wrong, you'll know I'm wrong, and I'll know I'm wrong, and you may already know I'm wrong. So I'll be embarrassed if I'm wrong. Only if I'm wrong. Yeah, York does go straight to Sunderland, so I believe that is the route to Sunderland. No, not Sunderland. Scarborough. I can't get it right tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of those recording nights. I've already had a couple of flub recordings. This could turn into my third one. We'll see. So you can see North Junction 1 is coming up. That is our initial destination. I'm going to start moving up to 30 miles per hour now that I know I have a yellow signal up ahead. We have cleared North Junction, or at least we're in North Junction right now. And that'll do nicely for right now. I'm going to go ahead and put a minimal throttle application on, see if I can hold. Or if I gain, which seems to be what's happening. Yep, I'm gaining at 4, so we're not going to be able to do a really good hold power pattern here right now. We're going to move up to 50 soon anyway, so that is fine. I'm just going to concentrate on that so I can move up to 50 right when we need to. And then we're on our way at 125, which will be our 100, basically. I don't like those wipers in the middle of the screen like this. That's a little annoying. Not much you can do about that other than go to the other side of the cab and you got the wipers in the middle of the screen like this, which is really annoying. So, yeah, not really much you can do there. On the curves, they are going to be in the way. Once we're off a curve, we're going to see things just fine. Train coming. That's the 1V55 Edinburgh Dependence Service, 1205. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a long train ride. Not a long train, but a long train ride. That is a train ride that would net the passenger operation hundreds and hundreds of dollars, because that's what it costs just to go across the country like that into Scotland. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And they only run 1 or 2 of those a day. I think it's 1 a day. In any case, there's a Freight 2 coming along. I'm talking about right now. They might have run another one back then, but I think right now it is 1 a day. So Freight 2, you notice, is a Black 5 service. All the freights we're going to see are Black 5s. There are actually trains, and I'm going to bring it up very quickly to show you. On the map, there are trains all the way up at Newcastle, right there. And also down here at, that is not Durham. Where's Durham? Durham is right around here. There's all sorts of trains down here as well at Durham. I think a couple that I didn't get to see here, so we're going to try and bring them up quickly. There's one, and that's it. And there's actually a couple beyond Darlington as well. These are all trains we're not going to see, except maybe one of those ones beyond Darlington. Because this scenario stops at Darlington. We're not going to continue beyond Darlington. 1527 arrival. That means the train number 1P51 scheduled to leave Durham at 1527 is going to be miles away from us. We're never going to see it. The train that is scheduled to leave 1B60 at BR47 Green, BR Green 47, I should say, Newcastle Reading Service, we're never going to see it. The Black 5 hauling some freight service further up the route, we're not going to see. The 47 hauling a freight service up the route, we're not going to see. That's why I can say they're all Black 5s, because we're not going to see the 47. And that service leaving Newcastle, it leaves at 15:55. We are never going to see it. So if you sit at York and not do anything for an hour, you're going to see these services. Some of them actually go through your path. But if you don't leave York for a long... If you do leave York right away and try to beat the timetable, you're never going to see those services. So get used to not seeing everything on this route. Though it can be funny to queue up services for an hour at the North Junction, just watch them all go by as you drive along. That could be funny. I can do better things with an hour though, so if that's your taste, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I don't know if we saw it yet, but 1P45 is in a Black 5 passenger service. It is the only passenger service hauled by a Black 5 in this scenario. We are going to see it at some point if we haven't already. I may have forgotten to call it out. We'll find out. Actually, there it is. That's it. So I think we're going to have a break in trains for a while. So I am looking ahead at the... but first of all, let me point out, I never said what the day of the scenario was, I don't think. I don't remember if I said it in my introduction or not. The date of the scenario is March 3rd of 1964. So the only trains on the route are 47s, 55s, and Black 5s. They match the period. We don't have any 37s in here for some reason, even though they match the period. They're not here. I don't know if they ran here or not, but the scenario doesn't include it in that time frame. So we're going to assume they're not there for right now. They might have run somewhere else in 64. But I know that in the 1972 scenario, the career Georgie Deltic scenario, on 102, I need to slow this down slightly. In that scenario, the 37s do show up as stopping services, as express services. And I'm seeing if there's even a freight service in there. Yeah, there are freight services. So we see them all doing everything in that scenario. We are also going to see 47s and 55s as well. So 47s and 55s will show up too. I'm under 100 now. I can put the speed back on. The nice thing about the Georgie Deltic scenario is we're going to get to see every single station on that scenario. We're going from York all the way to Newcastle on that one. We finish our journey at Newcastle in 90-minute scenarios. So that will be on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. look forward to it. I actually have to record it before I head off for my next trip to my mother's, which I already said to her I want to spend the New Year with her. So I plan to come home on the 1st, obviously. So I'm planning to come home possibly January 1st. And I'll be back to do more recording, but I want to have these videos done before I head out, because I'm thinking of going out for the Friday or Saturday. And Saturday, of course, is New Year's Eve, so it probably will be on Friday, because that seems like the fitting time for me to head out there. If I'm going to spend the New Year with her. Though she is talking about making a trip somewhere on Friday, and she might want the company for that trip, so I might end up going out Thursday night. We'll see. I am recording this before Thursday night, if you can't tell. So by the time you see these videos, I will be at her place. Speaking of New Year's, since it is New Year's Eve tonight, how do you watch the ball drop? Do you watch the ball drop, I should say? What else do you do to celebrate the New Year? Do you watch something else light up or burn down or something like that? What is your way of celebrating the New Year? The New York ball drop is obviously the big thing, which is centered around the Dick Clark's Rock New Year's Eve. I never get the label on that train. 1E14, there you go. So, do you watch the ball drop? Do you watch some celebration online? Are you from another country? Do you watch the Abu Dhabi? Do you watch England celebration where Big Ben goes off like it usually does? There's nothing different about that to celebrate the New Year. What is your New Year celebration if you don't watch any of those big festivities? What do? Do you hang out with family? Do you play board games? Do you... I'm going to get that next thought out of my mind. Like, what do you do? So, I'm just curious. My family is going to be celebrating on New Year's Day, so we're going to get together on New Year's Day. I'm going to get to see my sister's dog again. Smart dog. Wonderful dog. And we're going to... we're probably going to be playing board games or something, but at least we're going to have a nice feast there that day. We're going to have a nice meal. Probably play some board games. There is, in my mind, the idea, since it could get dark, there is the idea of staying with my mother to go home, and then I'll drive myself home the same night, since everything will be open again the next day, and if I want to do any shopping, I can. So I am thinking of doing the return the same night as New Year's Day to get home. There's no point for me to stay out beyond that, I don't think. I'll help her while I'm there, and then I'm going home. I'm done. But New Year's Eve, we're probably just going to stay, like, we're probably not going to do anything the whole day. We're probably going to just do some cleaning around our house. And that's the day you're seeing this, by the way. I'm probably busy cleaning right now as you're seeing this on New Year's Day. There's another Black 5. That's a freight. We're going to be coming upon another one very soon. Going in our direction, I believe. So, yeah, my New Year's Eve is going to be pretty boring. And I'm going to watch the ball drop. I have watched the internet version of the Times Square ball drop. It was 6 hours of literal boring TV. And by the time I got through the first 5 hours and 59 minutes, the ball drop was even boring. I wasn't too enthused for it by that point. So it's one of those things you have to have other people around to really enjoy, I think. And when I was by myself, I'm watching the ball drop. I'm like, okay, it's a new year. Next thing to do. What do I want to do first thing of the next year? Time to go play a scenario, maybe. Time to go, I make a decision what I want to do first in the new year, and I do it. Though, of course, I do wind up getting a phone call at 12 o'clock in 30 seconds. We'll ignore that detail. Sometimes before I even see the ball drop because of internet delay. That tells you something. I look forward to another great year of driving around on some very interesting routes in Train Simulator, Train Sim Classic, Sim Rail. Now, Train Simulator and Train Sim Classic are the same thing. Train Sim World is what I meant to say. Train Sim Classic, Train Sim World, and Rail Sim is what I meant to say. One word. It really messed up the beginning of that sentence. There you go. So I believe we still have to pass by Thirsk. We can see the barriers between the walls, I should say, between the platforms and the main line, because we're not actually pulling into the platform. We would have to slow down significantly for the platforms. So we're not using those platforms. And I think we're coming up on those stations if we haven't already passed them. And I was blind in that case. I know it's after a bridge, so I want to say it's right here. No, it wasn't this one. Okay. I'm at 102 again. I'm going a little fast. Nudge down the throttle a little bit. Yep, I'm getting tea and biscuits now. Looking forward to that tea. But more of the biscuits. And less the discussion. There is Thirsk Station going by right now. Those are the walls I was talking about. So you saw the tracks move out, and now they're coming back in, and we are on our way again. Or, well, we're still on our way. We haven't actually stopped being on our way. Now, we have not caught up to the service in front of us yet. I know from the signals that we are following a service. 1S35 is actually in front of us. If I were to look on the map, you would see it on the map in front of us. What I'm not going to do is try to tell you what it's doing up ahead, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. That was another service, and again, I didn't get the label, so let's go back and get it quickly. 1E09 is that service. 1E09. Nice view of the back passenger car. Passengers eating their lunch. That is the freight service we see right there. I'm not even going to bring it up. That's just freight, regular freight. But that means we're also coming close to Northallerton when we see this freight service. It's been going the whole time on the slow lane, so we're going to be kind of tailing alongside the back of it right there. I think I see a yellow. It turned green. No, it's still yellow. It turned green. This means I'm catching up to the train in front of me. I'm going to take the throttle off and idle. Now we're getting our warning. Will this one turn green? It didn't. Okay, we're going to hit the brakes. We're going to respect the signal. We will hit the brakes. I think we're actually coming up to the point we need to come to a stop anyway. We're coming close to Northallerton. And if you know anything about this route, you know that that signal is about 2 miles away from Northallerton. That is currently indicated as being red. We're probably going to be stopping at that or the next signal. So slowing down is a fantastic idea right now. Sure enough, that is a regular yellow signal, so I'm putting an even heavier brake application on. In fact, I'll make it really heavy at this point, because I need to get down in time for this signal. I am under the differential speed I normally would go for here for coming to a stop, so I'm doing okay. Let's ease it off a little bit so I don't slow down too much. Easing off the brakes for a moment. Now I'll put them back on. We're going to get our ding here. The freight train's about to go by. It's been running behind us. Now it's going to be catching us. And it's going to be passing us. The audio went away, but there it is. Get off the brakes. I'm going to pull up a little more towards the signal here just to cover the distance. This will do for our purposes. I like to get it to 0, but I'm not going to chance it with this kind of brakes. So let's look at our train as we are waiting at this very long wait we seem to have. Back in the cab of the BR Green Class 55. You might have noticed I pulled up closer and there's only one signal in the window now. I did move up a little bit in between those shots. It turns out that I saw a yellow signal and I started moving, and then I realized, nope, that's not my signal. That is the other signal turning yellow all of a sudden. So we want to make sure we don't blow by that signal over there that turned yellow on us. So yeah, we moved up a little bit. But we're still within the signal block. We haven't passed a red. We are still kosher here. And the train ahead of us is departing at this time. It's wait, so the 1S35 service, I believe it was, is still ahead of us. Let me confirm that. Yes, 1S35. I could confirm by going to the map right now, but the signal's going to change any second, so I kind of don't want to. There it is. So now this is confirmed. We have a very short sprint into Northallerton, and we have a bit of a wait. We're going to be there for a while. So while we get ourselves up to speed again, because we're going to have an 80 limit up ahead, I'm going to look at the map and show you there is the train leaving, and it is going to be going through Northallerton next. There is a yellow signal for it right now before it goes through Northallerton. We have a pickup after that train goes through. So we're still following him for a little while, but after we get to Northallerton, that train is long gone. We're not going to see him again. Or it, whatever you want to call it. We're inclusive of bots around here. After all, I am one. Not. Now I call myself a cyborg. Once a nerd, always a nerd. So we do have a yellow signal. That means that the next signal is currently red. We're going to stop increasing speed. We have lots of time anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Given the other train took off before us, it should be on its way out of the signal block by the time we reach it anyway, so I'm not too concerned. The only possible concern is it could have a stop at Northallerton itself, in which case we would have a red signal. Scanning ahead, we do have a yellow signal on 2 lines. Not just 1 line, but 2 lines, yellow signals. I brought the speed down closer to 40 for to prepare for my stop at Northallerton anyway, so I'm not too worried at this point. That is going to be for my stop. I'm not concerned about reds at this point because I know I'm stopping at the next platform. And we have a double yellow anyway, so the next signal's not red anyway. We are probably going to pass that platform to get all the cars onto the track, onto the platform at Northallerton. The stop marker is along the platform. It's not at the end of the platform. And in fact, any passenger cars past that stop marker will not open. But if we don't move those passenger cars past that stop marker, the ones at the back won't open. So we're going to try and simulate a full stop at the station because the train technically fits. The stop marker is just not designed correctly to allow all the doors to open, which is a shame. So there's the Northallerton platform on the other side. I'm going to hit the brakes heavily now. Warning of a yellow signal, single or double, doesn't matter. So we do want to pass this signal. We know we're green, so we don't need to worry about any kind of warning device to tell us to be cautious. We know it's a green signal. We're going to stop right here. So those 2 passenger cars, like I said, are on the platform. It just doesn't seem like it at first. So when I look at here, you see that that's in. That's actually not quite in, so we're going to move it up just slightly further. So the marker is actually not aligned correctly to show exactly where you need to stop, even at the back. That's interesting. So we're now going to be fully on at the back. We're going to bring it to a stop. And at the front, the engine is now off the platform. But that's okay. We don't need to open the doors on the engine. Passenger stop at Northallerton. We have arrived. Let's go ahead and take a look at the station. Lots of time to do it. You make the passenger stop in time. Next is Darlington by 15:28. We're going to get ourselves away as soon as we can. The train is very slow getting up to speed. So the line you see coming, you might have noticed, by the way, or I should say the line going away, you might have noticed the slow line on the right went under me at one point, coming up to Northallerton. That slow line is now part of the lines going off to the right towards Middlesbrough. So it looks like 4 lines merge into 2 as the line to Middlesbrough departs. There's the other 2 lines. You saw 2 more go over. They all merge up ahead. I'll just show you this. All 4 lines emerge here and continue on to Middlesbrough. We're going to see this as part of a DP simulation route and the associated siding. So that's all going to be a DP simulation route. We'll deal with it then. Nice little neighborhood here. For now, back to the train, and off we go towards Darlington, our next and final stop today. Also a line merging in here, if you wonder what that is. I think it's just from Darlington. I mean, what else would it be? Well, we're not Darlington yet. What am I talking about? Okay, what is that? That's not what I wanted. What is that? That is, if I center back on me, which the game tends to like to not do for me once in a while, that might be another slow line coming in here, because there's a line merging in from Redmire there. That line probably does not exist today, but it did back then, and it merged in to form a new... I guess a slow line or something over there. I don't know what. Maybe it turns into a siding after a couple of lane switches. Or it turns into a dirt path, because, you know, that makes sense too. That looks like a dirt path, and yeah, it is a siding. There you go. It is a siding. Siding is ended. We're on our way. What is on that side of the train? There you go. Alright, so we're on our way. We may have already passed service 1E15. I've literally not been paying attention to the trains going by. I think we have, based on my speed limit. We have a light engine coming up. I'm starting to think the light engine might have gone by already, too. No, that's it right there. There it is. So we are going to try to honor this 80 speed limit without losing our focus and letting it stray down below 70. I mean, we should still be on time even if it does, but you don't want to, you know, come in that embarrassed, right? That you had to be a slowpoke. Arrival time is listed as 15:28:22 and dropping. Literally, we have less than, well, still over 11 miles, but 11 miles to go at 80 miles per hour. We're looking at a speed of 4 miles per 3 minutes. So based on that, we should be there in 9 minutes. Keep in mind, we do have a 25 before the platform, or at least going into the platform in some ways, so we are going to have to slow down a little bit more, but it is 80 all the way to that 25 drop, and we're going to have to probably slow it down before that too, because sometimes Darlington likes to control your entry, depending on what track you're on. If we're on that track, let's find out who that is. If we're on that track, we're going to have to slow down early. 1V59, that is in, you saw Edinburgh to Plymouth. I'll get you more information on my notes here. That is the 1308 Edinburgh to Plymouth service. So keep in mind the next scenario coming up will be the Georgie Deltic. I think I may have said that already. I don't know what I said an hour ago when I made that last recording that got cut off. So if I repeated something, forgive me. I do have the scenario listing in front of me for that, the trains. We are going all the way to Newcastle on that one, and I'm pretty sure of it this time, because this time it is a 90-minute scenario, and you probably would not run a 90-minute scenario on half a route. Not unless you plan it for lots of delays and lots of red signals. So I think we're doing the whole route this time. I'm down to 79. Let's punch it back up a little bit. Managing our speed around the 80 miles per hour mark there. So I noticed that Train Sim World 3 has announced their, or at least the team for Train Sim World 3, not the game itself, has released some information on new routes coming in the new year. Now, I didn't know anything about this, but apparently there is a Class 385 spotted. I'm not going to go into speculation about what that would mean, but there has been some reports that that train only runs in Glasgow, and with the paint format that was seen, only runs on one route. If that is correct, and that's the route I think it is, based on that commentary, I might want to play that route for you guys. So, I'm starting to think I need to get myself used to Train Sim World 3 mechanics fairly soon so that I can play that train on that route for you, because this 385, if it's true, is a train I do not think we have yet in Train Simulator Classic. We have a 380, we have a 390. We don't have a 385. You can probably mock it up in some way based on that or another train model, but we do not have a 385 yet. And I can only hope the 385 does eventually show up in Train Sim Classic one day. Whether we get an updated Edinburgh to Glasgow route, I have no bloody idea. Absolutely no bloody idea. I mean, it was a 2010 Thompson Interactive product, I believe, so it would not be a bad idea to get an upgrade version out there and kind of just include the old one with it at this point. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Of course, if you do include the old one, update the scenarios with it. It's a new package. Make sure these scenarios have no problems. Mind you, I have played them all, and most of them do work. There just might be the odd one that doesn't work perfectly, or something goes wrong in it periodically. There was one scenario that actually did cause me problems, and in one run where I couldn't even enter the station at the end, I actually had to run the red signal and deal with the train trying to put me into an emergency brake, and I'm like, let me go, you're not working! Let me in! Excuse me. So that was my experience one day on the Edinburgh-Glasgow route trying to get into Haymarket. And the faulty signal and the train trying to tell me, you're doing bad, is basically made me late. Thank you, game. Thank you for annoying me another day. But, you know, it happens. Things like that happen. Another run seemed fine, and in fact, even that run that screwed up, I had to save at Edinburgh Park, and I actually got there on the second try on that part. But I had to play that scenario in 3 parts. I was not pleased. This is why you save as you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you have to play the scenario in 3 parts. You just don't have a choice. I didn't get that train for you. Who was that? 1G51. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. 1G51 was that train. And you saw the information on the screen, but I will just read now without stopping my recording to do so. 1G51 is the 1445 Newcastle to King's Cross. There's another Newcastle to King's Cross that I don't think we see, 1A36. I believe its start location is around the Darlington area, but not in Darlington itself. I think it's just north of Darlington. Maybe we do see it as we approach Darlington. We have a speed limit drop to 25 up ahead. We have plenty of time. I'm not worried anymore. We have plenty of time. So my math is correct because we are within 2 miles of the station. We have 5 minutes to get there. Our ETA is now 15:27:04. This seems inaccurate. I'm going to assume this is not a correct number. Especially as I'm peeling off more time as I get closer to the red signal up ahead. I mean, I'm guessing it's a red signal. We have an alert for it. It's probably a controlled access signal. So they want us down to a certain speed by a certain time, which means that 25 up ahead, ignore it's in effect earlier. We have our flashing yellow, so we are good to go for the line transition. We know it's a line transition at this point. So I'm going to show you as we pass over the marker here. We're going to get the red signal up ahead right now. It actually might be yellow right now. Is that ours? That might be our yellow in the middle. That's our yellow in the middle. We're good. And it just turned green on us as we passed the signals. There you go. We already were yellow. Everything was fine. So flashing yellow does not lead to red. On another run, I actually had that turn red on me. And I actually had it go from red to green, so it was a controlled access. It looks like depending on whether you play from a save game or play from scratch, here's a train coming in. Might as well see who this is since I left the labels on by accident. That's the 1A36. That's another Newcastle King's Cross. There you go. So 2 Newcastle King's Cross very close to each other. That's good train scheduling. So yeah, I guess depending on whether you play the route from the beginning and get to this point from the beginning, in which case it is double yellow, yellow, red turning to green and diversion immediately, or whether you get the path where you go from a save, say at Northallerton, and then you go double yellow, single yellow flashing, that is, and then you get the indication you can proceed because you have a flashing. It doesn't mean stop up ahead, it means get off my track, which is basically what we do. That looks like a holding track off to the right here, or left here. We're not going to use that. I always get my left and right mixed up. Why is that? So we're starting to slow down right now. We are going to beat this 15:27:33 very, very handily right now, without any question whatsoever. We're going to move past this red signal before that time comes at this rate. You can see some cars parked at the platform here. So this is also the car park within Darlington. We have a green signal. We don't care. We're done here. So we're going to open the doors here at Darlington platform number 4. That is our service concluded, at least our part of the service. We're going to hand over to another driver. Let's look at our train. So Meld has arrived. Yes, the train is called Meld. Meld has arrived at Darlington. Number D9003 in the old numbering before the standardized 47XXX numbering system. Where X's, of course, stand for numbers. I do fully expect a train to be arriving here. Depending on what time you arrive, you may actually see train number 1G51 pulling in. Another Newcastle King's Cross service. There's lots of them. That train comes into Darlington and just hangs out there with you at the end of the scenario. We're going to go ahead and keep the screen up for a moment because we're already being told we've successfully completed the scenario. After a locomotive changeover, the journey north can continue. So while I'm waiting for this train to come in, I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. so you know, and hit that bell, of course, so you know when I put out Georgie Deltic or any other videos on this channel. Also, keep your eyes peeled for those Simrail videos. I do want to put those Simrail videos out to show dispatching before we get to the full game. We're going to save the train driving tutorials and missions until we get to the full game, which I do intend to get. I think it's going to be probably about the $40 range, I'm guessing, in Canadian dollars, because they said it's going to be quote-unquote affordable. It probably will not be the next route I do, but I'm probably going to do at least 1 or 2 special scenarios. One of them might come, or videos, one of them might come after the Georgie Deltic. So we're going to get a chance to show off, I want to show off a couple, actually maybe I should show off the easier routes. I'll figure out what I want to do. If I want to show off the easy routes, or if I want to show off, or stations, or if I want to show off the advanced stations. I haven't decided yet. I'll think about that later. But in any case, yeah, keep an eye out for Simrail, because I'm going to start putting those on Wednesdays up to the release of that game. Then we're going to do a full release package showing a full week of content on there. And then I'm going to just kind of intersperse it from there. I'm going to try to mix it in. So I'm going to try to fit everything in here and over time, and keep coming back to the game, keep doing more. But I'm going to have dispatcher videos as well. That's something I definitely plan. Looks like the train is going to be arriving definitely around the time I expected. 15:27, 15:28, I think it arrives. So it is not going to be here probably by the time our screen ends. So again, make sure you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you at your part of the world. I'll see you for the next scenario. That scenario will be beginning in 3, 2, 1.